Let's do some building. Over here I have my town bulletin board for Glimmerwood, which is my town that I've been working on. And on this bulletin board I have a few to-do lists. I have one to-do list with several items on it. Definitely not the same thing as multiple to-do lists. But you can see on this to-do list we have a few items. I need to make a proper mine because right now mine is just a hole in the ground. Need to do a lake because we're really lacking any water features in this area, so I want to change that. Relocating my nether portal, right now it's just kind of in the middle of in a pond somewhere, but I've got an idea for it and I think it'll look lovely when it's done. And also I'm going to build up a nice big magic tower. Not too sure what I'll put in it. Maybe I'll put my enchanting stuff over there because right now my enchanting is also just kind of sitting out in the middle of nowhere. With that being said, I've got my to-do list. I'm going to be checking these off as we go. Let's get to some building. Let's go! Magnificent. Yes, here we are back again. Our bulletin board has now been completely cleared and we have our wonderful new structures in Glimmerwood over here. Let me take you through with some shaders because shaders look beautiful. So here we have our mines. I fashioned this one off of a old coal mine design, that they have these long chains that run up and down into the mine shaft all the way underground, and then these support structures that hold it together. I've added a nice little chimney to the side there. As per standard fashion, the interior is not done. Hello Enderman. But for what it's worth, I have extended the chain all the way down into bedrock level with my beacon at the bottom there to provide a bit of haste. But fear not, the interior will be done eventually. I just can't promise that it'll be today. What I am very proud of is, however, the entrance to my other mine, which is down this way. This used to be the entrance to my old mine, but I've refashioned it a little bit. You can see that I've decorated it with some TNT and some goblins. And over here we have some lava, which I'm planning to use eventually for a forge or something, but haven't gotten around to it yet. Some more TNT this way. I definitely can't bring any fire this direction, otherwise the whole thing might go up. I have a small little TNT minecart that runs down into the darkness down there. Used a little bit of coal to make it seem like it's running down into the endless abyss. Now down this way I've decorated this tunnel with a few support pillars, some pickaxes, more goblins, and more treasures that we have found deep inside these mines. A mountain of copper, because we all have a mountain of copper. Another one of our wonderful wonderful mine carts that goes down. And then this way, a little bit more decorations, some lapis. I love what I've done over here with this little hole in the wall that the minecart can fit through, but you can't actually go through unless you go through this space here. But what that does is that actually gives a bit of depth. You can see that background inside there, which you can't access. But as you walk along, you will be able to see the background move. And then down this way, nothing much. I haven't really gotten around to it. That's just our zombie spawner in there. Now this right here is the actual entrance to the mine shaft itself. Well, mining column. You see, it's just a bunch of stairs running down all the way to the different levels that I need to access. If I need a quick way up and down from surface level down into the mines, I can just use this handy dandy little dropper over here all the way down to the bottom. So heading off to the lake next, I have done a lot of decorating since the time lapse that I've shown. I've started a little bit of a dock here, but haven't gotten around to finishing it. As you can see, I've added a lot of little vegetation bits and pieces to the edges of the lake. There's these big lotus pads with the nice coral in the middle for the lotus flower. The BYG mod has these things called reeds, or like cattail flowers, which I think these are really cool to put at the edge of the waters. Really adds a lot of immersion and adds a lot of nature to the build. And then I've got these smaller lily pads, smaller lotuses, smaller lily pads, these weird algae clumps that were also in BYG. Got a couple hermit crabs, and then with the backdrop of that nice snowy mountain with all these wonderful pink flowers surrounding it and in front of it. My recording did get quite corrupt when I was building this sort of area, so unfortunately didn't get to save all the building of the vegetation and all the rest of the trees, and also for the inside of the lake, which I have fully decorated. It is looking wonderful. I've caught a bunch of fish with a whole bunch of kelp, and then also some other bits and bobs such as leaves, pickles, whatnot, just to give a bit of depth. Honestly, this lake build is one of my favorite things that I have done. You know, there's a lot to like here. Really, the shape of the lake, the underwater vegetation around the lake as well. Add a little bit of a waterfall over there, just a backdrop. It's everything I could ever want. Trees, flowers, Shrek.
Hello there.
Moving on to our portal, I have added a few little footpaths up to the portal so that I can actually get there without using rockets every time. I went for a bit of a sun sort of a design. If I pull back in free cam mode, went for a bit of a sun design. As you can see, there's these little spires that come off the edges. I added a little bit of a ring around the portal. I wanted it to be quite spherical and quite astral, but not quite fully magical, you know. It's kind of a feel where it feels like these wizards have mastered these arcane arts and are able to create these structures that float in midair, but it's not purely magic. It's also some science involved as well. But I'm definitely preferring this portal over my previous one, so even though it's a little bit harder to access, I am definitely going to use this a lot more than the one on the ground. Finally, we have our wizard's tower over here. This ring of magic turned out a lot better than I could have ever hoped for. I really think that Minecraft should add different colored lights so that just like in these shaders, these different colored blocks can produce different types of light. But so far this build is all just for show. There's nothing really inside it. I have fully decorated the inside. It's a water elevator that takes us all the way to the top. However, there's nothing in here at the moment, so if you guys have any good suggestions, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'll think about what to put into this actual structure. But for now, it's more of just a watchtower. I can see my whole base from here, most of my base anyway, and then it's also just a fun build that adds to the skyline of the area. So overall my base is looking a lot more alive than before. I've got a lot more structures in the sky reaching up towards the verticality, and also have a few more things planned for the base. But if you have any suggestions, definitely leave it for me so that I can think about what to incorporate in here. But overall, I'm really enjoying the process so far. Glimmergrove is coming together. I want to add a lot more verticality, a lot more magic to the area, and I think a lot more colors as well. So far we're just experimenting with that white and cyan, but the pink on the mine definitely adds a bit of a difference there, and I'm going to add more pink structures as well. So if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to give it a like. A subscribe would also be very much appreciated, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye!